We all like a little bit of luxury, but sometimes the budget just doesn't stretch that far. So does an entry-level model like this Hyundai Kona Active fill the bill? Let's find out. The Kona launched in 2017 and had a decent update this year. The Active is the second model up in a 6-model range, and it sells for a bit over $30,000 on the road. It lines up against a plethora of competition, including the MG ZS, Mazda CX-3 and Mitsubishi ASX. The styling essentials of the Kona haven't changed, but that's fine. It really does have its own unique look. But there is a new bumper and grille, and they sit alongside the LED parking lights and the stacked headlights. The Kona also gets a new rear bumper design, large rear skid plate and new look alloy wheels, upsizing from 16s to 17s for the Active. The Kona Active continues to come with this 2-litre 4-cylinder naturally aspirated petrol engine. So that means no turbochargers or any other doodads like that, and that also means less complexity and less servicing cost. Nowadays it mates with a continuously variable transmission rather than a 6-speed auto. That really helps dramatically improve fuel consumption. There's no doubt the Kona Active delivers a workman-like vibe when you first get in. There's not that much colour and energy to the trim, and the surfaces are hard to the touch. So here's where you notice some of the latest little luxuries are missing. You still have to use a key to start the engine, and there's no digital dash, just a couple of analog dials. And check this out, all you youngies at home. This is what air conditioning in cars always used to look like. None of this presetting a digital number. It's all about blue for colder and red for hotter. It's not all old school, of course. The Kona Active does get an electric park brake, a touch screen, and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless connectivity, and wireless charging as well. And in the safety department, there's no doubt the Kona Active compares well with many more expensive rivals. There's even hands-off driving ability. But for a vehicle that emphasises its versatility, the Kona is a bit light on for storage opportunities. The lidded bin is adequate and the glove box quite generous, but the door bins are pretty tight. It's a bit tight for legroom in the rear seat as well. Otherwise, 2 adults would fit quite comfortably. Kids should be no problem. There are no adjustable rear aircon vents and the door bins are tiny, but you do get a string net for both seats, a fold-down armrest with twin cup holders and a USB plug-in. At 374 litres, the boot's about the right size for this type of vehicle. I especially like this, the handy stowage area under the floor. There's also a side bin and stowage net, and the rear seat split folds down, growing space dramatically. Well, so far so good, but what about the driving? Let's go and find out. The Kona competes in a segment where there is an enormous range of driving quality, from the very good to the rather ordinary. The Active sits towards the top end of that range. The naturally aspirated engine is never going to deliver gobs of low-down pulling power, but the move to the CVT makes that less noticeable. You're not always hopping between gears. It's only when you really hammer the throttle and cop that extended and noisy top-end revving that the downside of a CVT becomes apparent. The driving experience of the Kona is utterly familiar. The localised suspension and steering tune developed for the original carries over into this update. That means this is a car that really operates best around town. Its lower speed ride is decent and its steering is quick and light enough for tight manoeuvres. Out on the open road, the Kona's suspension setup is a bit sharp in the ride, and the torsion beam rear end is a little bit lively. It's a setup experience you don't quite expect. The fuel consumption claim pans out in the real world. In the city or country, it never climbed higher than 7 litres per 100 kilometres, which is impressive. There's no doubt the Kona's styling makes it an interesting vehicle to look at, but the good news is big windows help make it a pretty easy vehicle to look out of. Just wish the equipment list included some front parking sensors to help with those tight spots. Hyundai also looks after the Kona Active with a solid ownership program. It comes with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, 15,000 kilometre service intervals and a capped price service plan. The Hyundai Kona Active proves you don't have to invest big money to get a small car with good manners and a decent list of standard equipment. Sure, there's a temptation to shop further up the model range for those little extras, but that's about what you want, not what you need. And that's a whole different subject. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos and let us know what you think in the comments below.